Unfortunately, we have to talk about South Africa again. South Africa is such a funny country because they are amazing at literally every single sport. They are pretty good at cricket, and they are the best nation in history in rugby. No other country has won more Rugby World Cups than South Africa. They can even do a job during the Olympics as well. So why is a country that is good at almost every sport absolute booty in the one sport that they actually love? Football. South Africa have just lost their second game at the 2026 World Cup. And you want to know what's crazy? I don't even know if that's true. I've recorded this video in the past. I haven't watched the game yet. I just know that they're gonna lose. However, if we did somehow win, let's go! Yes! Talk now! Talk now! Hold that! Hold that! But if we lost though, then I was trolling, man. What happened a few seconds ago? It was AI. You feel me? So please don't cook me. So the question is this: why is a nation that is capable of sporting success so bad at football? Is this karma for Elon Musk? For Oscar Pistorius? For my video about the best looking / chopped footballers? Is it karma for what's going on there right now? Now, I've done my research, guys, and I think I finally pieced together why us South Africans are so bad at the one sport that we actually love. Bruh, it is your boy, the streets champ, Toby World. Toby World, party time, excellent. And let's break it down. Y'all are too young to remember this, and I know that because even I'm a little too young to remember some of these things. South Africa used to have ballers in the best leagues in Europe. You want some names? How about this? Lucas Radebe was an elite center back for Leeds. Then you got Benny McCarthy. Okay, yes, he was a little bit more on the thick side, but this man was competing for golden boots in the Premier League and won a Champions League in Jose Mourinho's Porto team. And then you got the light-skinned wonder himself, Mr. Steven Pienaar, doing his thing at Everton. The same way how nowadays almost every world-class team features an African player from Nigeria, Ghana, or even Morocco. The case used to be the same for South Africans. But now finding a South African player in an elite European side, or even a decent European side, is like finding a woman at a Logic concert. So the question is this: why is there so many African players at big elite European clubs, but they're never South African? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to formally introduce you to the PSL, the Premier Soccer League. Yes, in South Africa, we say soccer, so maybe we deserve all the hate that we get. The PSL is South Africa's version of the Premier League, and it is where I hope Chelsea will ship Garnacho and Pedro Porco next season. Some of the teams in the PSL include Mamelodi Sundowns, SuperSport United, and two teams that you guys may have heard of, Orlando Pirates.
Get this guy out of here.
And Kaizer Chiefs.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you guys used to play FIFA in the late 2000s and mid 2010s, and you check out the rest of the world teams, chances are you would stumble across Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. They were the only African teams to feature in FIFA games. And I know y'all knew this because some of y'all would probably sign Simpiwe Shabalala from Kaizer Chiefs in your career mode so you could run back that goal that he scored against Mexico in the World Cup. Yeah, man, South African football used to have aura. Now, unlike other African nations that have their best players playing in and around Europe, right? South Africa's best players are still playing in South Africa, the PSL, which is really bad, especially for international football, because a bunch of dudes that play in the South African Football League against a bunch of players that play in Europe every single week is like a coughing baby versus a hydrogen bomb. Okay, so Toby, why don't South African players leave the PSL and go play in Europe like other African players do? Yeah, guys. Why the don't you just do that? Anyways, I have an answer for that. It's called money! The average player in the PSL earns at the very least 80,000 rands a month. Rands is, of course, South Africa's currency. But you see, that's just the average salary. Now, if you look at the top teams in South Africa, the monthly salaries are around 220,000 rands for a player at Sundowns, 160,000 rands at Orlando Pirates, and 130,000 rands at Kaizer Chiefs. These are the averages. We haven't even gotten to the top players in the PSL, like Ronwen Williams, the best goalkeeper of all time, who gets, I shit you not, about 500,000 rands a month. Now look, in terms of conversion, that's only about 22,000 pounds or like $30,000. But trust me, if you got that kind of money in South Africa, you are living like a king. Dude, forget about Tyler. You can get about 50 Tylers if you want. You could be cruising around the city of Johannesburg in a rollie, eating some of the best food on earth. And that's why I feel like South African players would rather live in luxury in South Africa than grind to get into the big leagues of Europe. And I understand that because now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a little bit of Toby World lore. Now, towards the end of my time in South Africa, my family was kind of balling. I remember being a snot-nosed kid eating good at the Holiday Inn Garden Court Hotel in Durban. That kind of lifestyle, it's addicting, man. I remember looking at my mom as a kid and saying, yeah, this is amazing. Why don't we just stay here? Let's not leave South Africa. She looked at me and said, Hypo, no, we are going to Birmingham, England. Don't get me wrong. Birmingham isn't bad, but boy, do I miss the Holiday Inn. And I guess that's the issue with South African footballers. They don't want to leave the glitz and the glamour. The only time they might leave the PSL is when they're in their mid-20s to go play in countries like Belgium or Denmark. But that is a stupid idea because as a footballer, you are most valuable when you are young. No Diddy, no Blue Coat. Unfortunately, in football, when you hit the age of like 26, you start to become a depreciating asset. No, wait, no, don't Google my age. No. I mean, dude, even if you look at South Africa's best players in Europe, Steven Pienaar, Lucas Radebe, Benny McCarthy, they were playing in Europe in their early 20s. Now, it is time to talk about a feeling that I feel almost all the time. Jealous. I meant jealous. Yes. Now look, South Africans find it hard to join clubs in Europe, but you, on the other hand, you can join a massive club. I want you to join my club, World Gang FC. Do you want to know how you join World Gang FC? All you have to do is subscribe and you're officially signed. And everybody that's already subscribed is signed to World Gang FC already. And if you want to make a mark for yourself in World Gang FC, all you have to do is subscribe, like it up, hype the video up, boom, you just got yourself a hat trick. You've made more of an impact than Petro Porco could ever dream of. Let's get World Gang FC to 100,000 subscribers. Let's get back to the video. Now, since I was a kid, I've always enjoyed African football. I honestly enjoy AFCON more than I enjoy Copa America or the Euros. The vibes there are just unparalleled, I'm sorry. And I love African football because my favorite players of all time come from different parts of Africa. This makes sense because I'm a Chelsea fan. We've had players like Essien from Ghana, John Obi Mikel from Nigeria, mate. We had old head Eto from Cameroon. And of course, my absolute favorite player of all time, Didier Drogba from Ivory Coast. Now, although I feel a strong sense of pride seeing African players absolutely killing it in Europe, I have to also admit, I do feel a little bit of inferiority complex. Like, yes, South Africa did make it into the World Cup and Nigeria didn't. But Nigeria still have world beaters like Osimhen, who makes his country proud on a weekly basis during Champions League nights. People from Ghana get to see Semenyo spraying his semen, over the entire Premier League last season. Don't even get me started on North African countries, who have players like Hakimi, who's literally getting nominated for Ballon d'Ors, or players like Salah and Mahrez, who have won Premier League Player of the Season trophies. I was so proud to see Morocco make the semifinals of the World Cup in 2022. And I was devastated when Ghana got knocked out by Uruguay in 2010. Gian, I swear, if I catch you in public, say what you want, but African football as a whole is absolutely thriving right now. So what's your excuse? Can you do anything right? Shut up! Wait a minute. I live in England. I could just support England. Oh my, you know what? I'm going to a pub right now. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, mate. I caught me message, shagging me dog.
Yes, lad.
Hide your wallets.
Guys, it's the World Cup. And guess what? It's coming home.
Mate, you need to go back home to your own country. No, mate. He don't understand what you're saying. Listen. I'm going to talk to him in a language that he can understand. Right, listen, mate.
Well, I guess I'm not supporting England. Now look, there's a lot of other reasons why South African football isn't cooking. It could be economical issues. It could be the geography. How European clubs would rather travel to countries in West and North Africa than all the way down to the South. Because to be honest, there's a general lack of Southern African players in Europe in general, not just South Africa, but Zimbabwe, Kenya, Mozambique, etc. But now it's time for my plan, what I think my nation should be doing so that we can have better players and we can start seriously competing for trophies like AFCON and become regulars players in the World Cup. Firstly, South African players need to stop pretending that they are Cristiano Ronaldo. A lot of South African footballers just care about dribbling. We are a nation full of Yannick Bolassis. In South Africa, footballers just care about Diski, Gassi flavor. Basically, they just want to play like it's FIFA Street. Now, it's cool because we've had some cult heroes like a guy like Teko Modise, who I know this is going to sound crazy, but this guy genuinely might be a better dribbler than Eden Hazard. South African players need to stop being so ball heavy because if you look at how teams play in Europe, they do not keep the ball for too long. If you keep the ball for too long, well, you're going to look like what Garnacho looks like every single weekend. South African players need to start prioritizing passing and possession. Secondly, South African players need to be okay with grinding for years in Europe. Yeah, okay, they might spend some years in the championship or in the second division of nations like Germany or Netherlands, but it doesn't matter. You're giving yourself a way better chance of reaching the pinnacle of football than you are by staying in South Africa. And last but certainly not least, the PSL needs to stop giving their players such ridiculous money, or they need to prioritize that money into getting South African players out of South Africa and into the European leagues. That would be way more beneficial to South African football as a whole, rather than having South African players who are not developing because they're getting so much money and they just want to stay in South Africa. They just want to stay at home and flex how many Mandelas they have in their pockets, partying at the Conca Club when Rick Ross makes a pit stop to Johannesburg, eating at La Colombe, driving their new McLaren when they pull up to Grace Bible Church. South African footballers, I'm telling you this, yes, I get it. The lifestyle gets addicting. I mean, we haven't even touched on the women in South Africa. Women around the world are trying their best to get BBLs, bro. South African women don't need it. They just got it naturally. Look, I'm so happy that my nation made it to the World Cup, but I don't want us to embarrass ourselves all the time. So that is why I am praying that the infrastructure in terms of South African football can start to line up with the big leagues like European football so that we can start seeing some great South African footballers again. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think about this. Actually, you know what? I want to know what's the state of your country's football. I've been ranting about mine. Please, whatever country you're from, comment down below the state of your country's footballing nation right now. I want to see if you guys are thriving, or maybe you're from a niche country where absolutely nothing is going on. But I appreciate you guys watching. It's been your boy, the Streets Champ, and I've just given you the gift of Toby World. Drink it in, man.
Hit that sub button fast, quick. If you don't, you're gonna get your ass kicked. Cause the journey's looking magic. Subscribe, like it up, hype it up, hat trick. We want 100K, no pain. Royal gang's on fire, no cane. I think your girl rang. She tell me, Toby, I wanna join World Gang.